Here's Ethereum on the daily dipping. Here's Cardano on the daily dipping. Everybody, right now, as I start this video, I am bullish and I want to say it to you in these moments. You will not find emotion in my analysis. I'm not an analyst that you're going to come across and you're going to see me changing my tune, changing my stance with every little move on a weekly basis that we get. That's not what's happening here on these charts. If you've been watching my videos, this green arrow back here, 2023-ish, bear market lows, I've been bullish on the altcoin market since then. It's been higher highs, higher lows, slow growth. I know it's not been an overnight 50x, but I know the majority of you are seeing what I'm seeing, and I'm just generally grateful that there's been growth on the charts and growth in this space. And I would say very grateful that we have an incredible setup right here for altcoin markets and for the crypto markets in general, for an incredible bull move that I think is going to happen. I want to show you something right at the beginning of this video. This is going to be like 1 minute of just a massive reminder and very important technical lesson for all of us. Look at this. This was a post I did in February of 2025. Been waiting months for the potential Bitcoin throwback to 80,000 region. Would be nice if it would just happen and get it over with. Here's the Bitcoin chart. And if we look at this, this is the Bitcoin throwback. And it happened. And we actually dipped below 80, right to around like 75. That was an inverse head and shoulders throwback. And then if you've been watching my videos, I want to show a quick clip. This was from 6 months ago. Check this out. Is this massive symmetrical triangle, this potential busted pattern where it just pulls back to the triangle and then we're entering a bull. I think that is very... Okay, so that was 6 months ago. And look how that played out. The busted pattern played out. And now here is a clip. This was from September 7th, weeks ago. Check this out, right? Let me show you. Let me visualize it first, right? We have this, if we get a throwback, could be the most bullish altcoin season setup. Because everybody, I'm not showing that to be like, I got it, I called it, that's it. I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. But what I really want to say to you is this is all about technical analysis. This is all about removing emotions from the markets, especially for macro investors that have kind of this longer term vision like myself. I need to remove emotions, and technical analysis is precisely the method of doing that. Because look at how these patterns and these throwbacks just play out. And right now, what we're really talking about is busted patterns and triangles. That's what has played out over time. And so right now, when you go to an Ethereum chart, guess what? We're in the middle of not only a short-term move, a technical move out of a consolidation pattern, a triangle in the short term, but we're in the middle of that longer-term throwback that, you know, we've just been anticipating on this Ethereum chart. That's what's happening right now. So hit the subscribe, hit the like on the way in. If you're not in our intelligence system, get back there. We have our risk models, our exit planner. Start planning your exits. If you're a macro-minded individual like myself, I really think it's going to be incredibly valuable for you. And we have a free trial going on right now. So click the link below. Just get set up. Try it out. If you don't like it, cancel before the 7 days is up. I did a very quick overview of everything that has been playing out from a pattern perspective. But I do just want to kind of start diving into the move itself because, and I want to use Ethereum and Cardano charts to do this. Because at the end of the day, I think this is a shorter term move. I don't want to say I'm happy it's happening, but you know I've been waiting for, I would say probably weeks if you go back and watch my videos. Just this move on Ethereum. If we go back to the altcoin market cap chart, you know this move with the breakout towards all-time highs. It's like not convincing. The way in which it's been slow growth and a lot of frustration for these markets, it's not convincing that like this was gonna be the breakout move, right? It was just so obvious that there's gonna be more sideways or even down in play for altcoin markets. And there could be more down in play. We have this 20 and 50 week moving average on the altcoin market cap chart that we can monitor, but I do wanna evaluate the Ethereum charts and the Cardano charts to get a sense of short-term just guidance for price action. I am a macro investor, everybody. Like that's my plan, but I work in the crypto space. And even if you don't even work in the crypto space, but you just have crypto, you're probably like me and you're just like, you're monitoring the charts. And this is why I do shorter term analysis as well, because I want to, when we're getting big dips, or even small dips, I just want to understand from a technical and emotional perspective why it's happening. And that's why I do that. And that's what I want to kind of break down in terms of Cardano price action and Ethereum price action. And we can kind of put that all together, piece it all together on the macro, on this cycle. So let's start with Ethereum. So with Ethereum, it's a little bit different than Cardano actually, but similar in a lot of ways. We have the shorter term consolidation, the triangle. We broke to the downside. We would have enjoyed it to the upside, but we broke to the downside, and the target is really at this zoomed out Ethereum triangle. If you go to a weekly chart, which I have open, that's what that throwback could look like. And we talked about this yesterday, and this is just a very nice area, right? The 20-week is making its way to that triangle trend line. So that $35, $36, $34, $100 Ethereum is a very nice, healthy consolidation on the macro, especially when you consider the way in which this cycle has just been consolidating all over the place, right? But if we go back to the Ethereum daily, I don't want to put this false bullishness out there. I do not. When I'm tracking these fake breakouts to the downside, because right now we have our target, right? It's realistic, it's in play. Please be prepared for it. But at the same time, I am always waiting for these moves to the upside. And this is kind of what I demonstrated at the beginning of the video with all of these things. The Bitcoin, the Ethereum, throwbacks and pullbacks and everything going on. So I don't want to put too much bullishness out there to say, hey, this is still in play, but I think it really is still in play. We're just about halfway to the target. And for me, within the volatile crypto space, I would say halfway to the target. The pullback is still in play, meaning we don't get the break to the target. But even so, even if it was just a little bit down, I do like to see tests at the apex areas of these patterns. If not, now the 20 is crossing below the 50. I like to see a retest of those moving averages. And maybe it won't come right now. Maybe we will just continue capitulating to mid 3000s for Ethereum. However, I would not be surprised if there's sideways action, or even just a little bit of a rally to test. That does not mean the bulls are confirmed, right? We could get rejection and, we can make our way back down to the pattern itself. And it can be the first week of October and we're still dipping and everybody's becoming more bearish because everybody wants this instant, just give me the gains, give me the green candles nonstop. And it's not realistic. And I just want to continue to just bring that point home because I get it. I want the gains too. I would very much enjoy just parabolic, if in a bull market, this is what was always happening. Yeah. But that's not what bull markets have even demonstrated for us in previous cycles. So this cycle will be no different, especially because we do have ETF stuff going on. We have interest rate, business cycle shift. We have legislation. There are so many narratives that I think are being actually used. The headlines are being used to kind of manipulate markets. So this cycle more than ever, we are in a really interesting area where there's going to be volatile price action. And a lot of fake outs. Point being, let's watch because there is a case that Ethereum makes a way, but I'll way back to this moving average, lower trend line area. I'll be seeing if it happens, can Ethereum break really, let's just call it $4,500 with strength. That's what we need to see to start confirming the bulls are really back in charge. But if not, there might be resistance and continuation, or there might be continuation to the downside. Now, I want to take a look at Cardano because interestingly enough, on the daily chart, it's similar, right? That is, Cardano broke a lower trend line. Here's Ethereum. Ethereum looks a little bit more overextended from the break to the downside than Cardano does. And even the consolidation of the moving averages is interesting on Cardano. The 20 is not just yet about to break below the 50, that green below the blue. And Cardano very simply right now is testing these swing lows from the first week of September. If you go to the first week of September on Ethereum, Ethereum is actually putting in a lower low. So interesting in that regard, but the similarities is we broke a lower trend line of a pattern we were talking about. We would really have liked to see the breakout of this wedge to the upside, but similar to Ethereum. Again, I'm not trying to put too much bullishness out there because there's targets to the 60s, and we're going to talk about it. But similar to Ethereum, Cardano might have a pullback, right? To test and put into play, potentially, if there's confirmation here, a busted pattern. This could be the big busted pattern for Cardano that drives it to $1.50. We could be, I have to be careful saying this because it comes off over bullish and people think I'm a hype man, but we could be at this moment of time where mid-October, late October, Cardano is like making its way to above or to $1.25, the upper end of the bull market doors, towards $1.50. Like this could be in play, right? Where all of a sudden everybody's bullish again and we're above $1 again in October. I just want to say that. And a busted pattern might be part of that story. And that's a maybe. That's not like something I'm guaranteeing, but that's an anticipation of the bulls. And you can even see right here, we have the 200-day moving average, which is a very nice area that we should monitor for support for Cardano right now. But namely, we have a target to the downside. It's like the mid 60s. And you can just see Cardano might actually, it might make the move. I want to go over to the weekly chart for Cardano because that would be important for this kind of story, because this would mean Cardano is breaking once again below the 20 and 50-week moving averages right here, which right now is holding support. Be phenomenal if we can get a weekly close above this area, but we might fall to the downside. And I just want to make a note, we'd still be above the 200-week moving average, which is important, right? The 20-week moving average, I would say for a bull market is incredibly important, right? We want to see higher highs and higher lows consistently for months above the 20-week moving average. Very good example, last cycle. This is what we want to start seeing happening, right? But at the very least, if we're going to fall and consolidate again below those areas, there's the 200-week. And the consolidation of these weekly moving averages is absolutely insane. Like we talked about this, I think, in a video the other day. But long story short, there's another macro kind of target to the downside for support. And it kind of plays right into the short-term pattern that we are in and a short-term target to the downside. So it's that mid 60s area. Be prepared for it. There is support along the way. There's a case where we get a break to the upside. We're testing a lower trend line. Let's see what happens there. Maybe we break back above. That can be a bullish confirmation, but there might be resistance at 90 cents if we make a run for it. And then this might extend to further dip into October. As you see, I'm not sitting here trying to, absolutely guess the next move. I'm anticipating all scenarios so that I can be prepared for them. But when you zoom out on all of these charts, and I can even zoom out on a weekly chart for Cardano because that is very much included here, even if Cardano hits that target to the downside, my point being, we're all the way in the mid 60s again. People are very frustrated, and I get it. Believe me, I get it. But I'm still bullish at that moment. I talked about the business cycle yesterday. We've been talking about the crypto market structure bill. We've been talking about everything going on. There's even a new, I think October 1st, is it? A meeting about crypto taxes. We're in a very bullish environment. That doesn't mean we're going to get a parabolic 10x. But for a macro-minded investor, what's playing out here on the Cardano chart and other altcoin charts, this is something that I'm highly interested in and I am bullish on still. And you're not going to hear me changing that tune because we're getting a dip. So I wanted to try and present this to you like very simply and just openly. You know what I mean? But I encourage you, if you're out there, try not to get too rattled by these markets. I completely understand how frustrating they get. I do. But I continually have to go back to the, just the basics of technical analysis and also removing emotion. So I appreciate you watching. Hit the subscribe and like if you had any value from this video. And if you're not in our intelligence system, here's our new dashboard. Go get the dashboard set up, customize it, check out the risk models that we have back here, the exit planners that we have back here, and just start planning. So appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.